So recently I found this Facebook group of anti-vaxxers all in Florida, and they organized rallies through the Facebook group. Immediately I was like, this is perfect for excuse me what. Florida anti-vaxxer rally from Facebook? It couldn't be better. Come check out what I saw.
Well, as an activist with We Are Change Central Florida, and we're out here trying to expose the truth. The biblical sense of it, St. John chapter 8, verse 32, know it the truth, and the truth will set you free. These vaccines are man's creation. They're not God's. God didn't create vaccines.
Yeah.
Your body, your human immune system was created by God. You're the temple of God. You have the blood of Christ in you. Your immune system is supposed to withstand bacteria, germs, and viruses. So if God's not right on that, then nobody is.
I'm here joining all of the fellow citizens, fighting for our right to choose, fighting for our right to assemble. I'm against government tyranny. I'm against
Tyranny.
Tyranny, excuse me, yeah, that word. I'm against anybody that's trying to force whatever it is on our body, trying to silence us. That's what I'm against.
Vaccines are an experimental drug. It takes 2 to 7 years to come up with an anti-vaccine, and they managed to do it in 6 months. Cancer research has been going on for over 100 years, and they've spent hundreds of billions of dollars on research, and yet they haven't come up with a cure for cancer, but they can come up with a cure for an unknown disease within 6 months. It doesn't fly. I'm sorry. They're just making you take the vaccines because the pharmaceutical companies are telling you to do it.
Why listen to them when you can just listen to God?
That's right.
Dominic, tell the people what they need to hear, man.
We're telling people the freedom variant's here. It's highly contagious. We know what's up. Event 201 was a simulated coronavirus pandemic simulation put on by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Johns Hopkins University, and World Economic Forum. Right before this happened in October of 2019, they basically simulated and explained how they would systematically lock down countries worldwide and try to force vaccinate us. If you think this is going away anytime soon, it's not. These people are making so much money off of us, and they're killing us. Every mRNA test animal that they've ever used these vaccines on has died within several months afterwards. The two most common side effects of the vaccine are blood clots, heart attacks, strokes. If you have a heart attack or a stroke, you can't even be a firefighter, you know?
Hey, we're just standing up for our children, standing in the gap for our kids, teachers.
So why are you against the mask mandate?
I'm pro-choice and freedom. So a mandate removes our parental right to choose what's best for our kid instead of the government mandating what's best for my kid. They don't know my kid and they don't know what they've been through.
How would you deal with it if they enforced very strict mask or vaccine mandates in the schools?
Remove my kids. I got 5. I parent my kids. I don't co-parent with the government. I went to public school my whole life. We turned out great. Why wouldn't you put your kid in public school? But the way it's going, my kid doesn't need to be in a communist camp if that's what it came to.
What may work for some may not work for others. My child is a child that struggles with cardiac issues. She's asthmatic and has anxiety. So even on a normal day, she struggles for normal oxygen intake. And you deprive her that with a mask on her face, you're depriving her brain of the ability to learn properly compared to every other student. So for my kid, this is absolutely child abuse.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's like restricting the oxygen flow to your kid's brain. And stuff.
Absolutely.
I'm his mom, and 16 years ago, I trusted the science, had my son vaccinated, and he was damaged with ear infections. He didn't speak much, and it took me a while to figure out what the problem was.
The freedom variant is here! And what else we got here? Okay, so yeah, experimental gene therapy is not a vaccine. Yeah, if it's so safe and effective, why is there zero liability? Why can't we sue the people who are harming us? And then finally, Nuremberg trials. These illegal mandates are a violation of all 10 of the Nuremberg Code. This happened before, and a lot of people did not see this coming, but it's returned,
I like that pun.
Yeah.
I caught that. That was pretty clever.
We will not hail Fauci,
I am a libertarian. I fall under the voluntarist portion of libertarianism. Honestly, I think that we need to approach this as a war. I feel that war has been declared upon our bodies, and we need to come up with an appropriate response.
Do you have any message out there for the parents?
I want to tell the parents that you have legs, you have brains, you have arms, and you have mouths, and they have not sent us to concentration camps yet, but they have built them for us. It is now time to stand up for your children, or we will all be in concentration camps, and we do not want to subject our children to that any day of the week. So please stand up for yourselves, stand up for your children, or we will all lose this battle.
What do you think that the concentration camps that exist now are?
So they are written down on the CDC website. They're called green zones. They are called camp. And I have gotten screenshots from a brother-in-law of mine who is in the military showing that they are actively hiring right now for these concentration camps. There are at least 5 of them that have been built.
Wow.
At the end of the day, it's always facts over fear. When you really look into where the pharmaceuticals come from, their lawsuits, and who funds them, follow the money, really follow the money, then you might want to reconsider, because this isn't about health. This is about money. You are a commodity, you have a barcode because you have a social security number, and that's it. They want you dead. You're a useless eater. To them, you are a commodity. That's not the way it should be.
We are supporting our first responders as Orange County is mandating that they get the jab, and that is unconstitutional. We live in the United States of America, and where there is risk, there must be choice. There are hundreds of firefighters and paramedics that do not want to get the jab. Therefore, they should not be mandated or forced to do so.
What do you think they're going to have to do job-wise if they don't want to get it?
Sadly, they are committed to follow this all the way through. So right now, it is my understanding that Orange County is short of paramedics and firefighters. They're going to be firing a couple of hundred or more. Listen, if your house is on fire, do you care if the firefighter is jabbed? No. When you call 911, you want that fire truck showing up fully manned as quickly as possible.
Do you believe in surgery?
No, absolutely not. I believe in holistic doctor treatment care. I haven't been to one yet, but I plan in the future I most likely will.
You tore your ACL like on the basketball court shooting hoops. What would you do afterwards if you were not going to get a surgery for it?
Like I said, holistic treatment is the best way to go. But you got to understand something. God said for everyone to take care of their temple. If you're out there carelessly playing sports, which you shouldn't be, because after high school, you shouldn't be in games anyway, because the biblical aspect that the games never ended. This is only a deception and a distraction to have you focus on sports while the New World Order carries out their wars and their agenda.
You know, everyone has their ideas about the jab and whatnot, but really it's truly up to them, and I support them in either way. My parents got the jab.
Were you upset that they decided to get jabbed?
Of course.
What was that conversation like?
Been a lot of conversations and showing them published articles and showing them evidence about our pharmaceuticals and why they've had millions of dollars of lawsuits based on their other products that they've made, and yet they seem to be just okay with, oh, well, this one's safe, this one's okay, and you know, it's sad.
Why did they want to get it, your parents?
Well, they're elderly, they're not as healthy as they'd hope, and they wanted to feel protected. I mean, they watch the news, they have friends that are getting it, and part of their religious organization is also encouraging it as well, so that's why they felt the need to get it.
Are you worried about their health now that they got it?
I've always been worried about their health.
Yeah.
You know,
a little more worried, though?
A little more worried, absolutely, yes.
People lack wisdom and knowledge. That's the basic. Now, this is a research book. It's 16 years of research that I've done. Now, I'm a trained and experienced investigator, retired law enforcement, 6 years in the Marines, military police, peace officer. It has everything from all the cures of all the diseases, all the so-called suicides and accidents were really murders. I could tell you the stories of O.J., that was a setup both times. Dick Gregory and Professor Griff, DMX, even DMX stated, he said, do not believe what you hear, what you read, and only believe in half of what you see among the government.
How about Amy Winehouse? Do you think they killed her?
Big time. Screaming at the last minute of her death. If it was an overdose, she would have went out quiet. She wouldn't have died that way. Everything from 5G. Now, 5G is what's making everybody sick. That's what's actually causing the problems. Migraine headaches, insomnia, and so on and so on. Then you got the global chemtrails spraying.
You have very good handwriting.
Yeah, cops, when they do reports, they write like kindergarten.
Yeah.
I know, my wife works for the state attorney's office.
So a lot of great information here.
Well, you haven't even gone through it yet.
What are some of the side effects you've heard of the vaccine?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so there are neurological issues, serious tremors, symptoms such as MS, Parkinson's, brain fog, weakness, lethargy, paralysis, Bell's palsy of the face, complete arm and leg paralysis. The list is innumerable. Many people are getting the jab and getting shingles. People call it a vaccine. It's not a vaccine. A vaccine actually is something that stops the transmission and causes an immune system response.
Yeah.
That's not what this does.
You got to drink alkaline water. This is the best. This is what the movie stars and the government drink. 9.5 on the alkaline level.
Got to drink alcohol.
8. Oh, you better believe it. Then you got Rumford baking powder, GMO-free, aluminum-free. It's the only baking powder that'll cure cancer. That'll also protect you from the chemtrails and absorb the nanometal particles from the chemtrail spraying.
So if you have cancer, just take baking powder?
Take baking powder. Now if it's advanced,
So do you snort
if you're
it, or
advanced,
do you...
no, you drink it. You take your water, alkaline water.
Okay.
But if it's real advanced, you have to inject it. You have to get a doctor to inject it into the very heart of the cancer. Okay, now you got one here. Hydrogen peroxide, 3%. Don't dilute it. Will cure cancer and any disease known. You'll never have to take a vitamin. You'll never get a cold. I'll demonstrate it.
Okay.
You take the hydrogen peroxide, you go 6 times with the mist, and then you spray it 9 times. Exhale.
Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It works. This will cure anything. Anything.
When did you realize that it was the vaccines that caused your son's autism?
Okay, so he was diagnosed with autism. The doctor said there was no known cause or no known cure. And that's when I was like, all right, I better do my own research because that doesn't sound right. The medical community makes a lot of money when people are sick. And so I started on a quest and found out that mercury poisoning mirrored the same symptoms as autism.
Why is it that Bill Gates can give us medical advice, but we can't? We can't give our friends medical advice on the Facebook, on Instagram. We're censored, we're taken down. That's a big red flag. Again, something for people to look up to or
Bill
look
Gates
into.
isn't a doctor, he's a computer nerd.
Correct.
You know?
And he hasn't successfully gotten rid of any computer viruses, so I have no idea why he's talking about human viruses.
That's a great point.
And let's be clear, Joe Biden was not elected. Arizona audit. We demand full forensic audit in every state, in every county in the United States of America.
If you're having government officials that have their hands in the pot, that are getting the money, if you have Bill Gates and all these other big multi-billion-dollar companies incentivizing you, coercing you, then that's a big red flag.
Where there is risk, there must be choice. There must be choice.
Watch out for sunscreeners, by the way.
Yeah.
Over 77 are contaminated. Yeah, big time. The tests they do on the vaccines causes cancer, so you got to be careful.